What this report does is that it confirms what we know and what you have said before about the threat, the very serious threat that FDLR is to Rwanda. And it also, this time, details the kind of financial support, weapons, and political cover that the FDLR is receiving from the government of DRC, along with other illegal armed groups. And this presents an even heightened risk of insecurity to Rwanda. We know that the FDLR, fighting alongside the FRDC, have staged attacks on Rwanda before. We know that the FRDC has violated our airspace and our territorial integrity. So it's a confirmation that these groups are colluding with the FRDC under the support of the DRC government.
Right, and how about this part that Rwanda is supporting the M23 rebel groups in the eastern DRC?
Our interests have always been to secure our borders and ensure that Rwandan citizens are safe. That is our number one interest. Anything that threatens our security, anything that comes near our borders will be repelled, either defensively or preventively. And this is why we said in February that we are deploying heavily along our borders to ensure that there's no spillover from the insecurity that is caused by over 200 or 250 armed groups in the DRC. That situation of insecurity should not affect our citizens. It should not harm the businesses along the border or further in to Rwanda. And we need to safeguard all the gains that we have made in this country that you all know very well about. So our number one priority is security for our people and security for our borders.
Exactly, and to some details of this particular report, it provided some names and ranks of the RDF officers, according to this report, as it was written in it, in operations in Eastern DRC, despite not providing liable information or more about these particular allegations. What do you have to say about it?
Well, it's laughable. You can go anywhere on the internet and find names of serving officers, retired officers. It's just a random list of names. It means nothing. There's no evidence. There's no logic to this. So that's something that we're completely ignoring. It makes no sense at all. It even includes, the report includes the name of our Prime Minister, for instance. It's ridiculous.
Right, and this report is not different from different other reports that were released, some of which, of course, as I said, accuses Rwanda of close collaboration with M23 and a role in destabilizing Eastern DRC. What do you think is the motive behind this part of the report that always accuses Rwanda and depicts a responsibility of Rwanda in the conflicts in the DRC?
I mean, what is clear, I cannot speak to the motive of the group of experts, but I think what is clear and what everyone sees is that the leadership in the DRC has abandoned any semblance of a normal government. There is absence of state in the DRC that causes insecurity. They have elections coming up and they have chosen to blame Rwanda as a scapegoat for all that is not working in the DRC. It's ridiculous. We cannot be responsible for all kinds of internal problems in the DRC. We have our own problems to deal with. What this report does with its fabrications and its distortions of the reality in the DRC and its lack of explanation of the root causes of the conflict in the DRC is that it is making the situation even more complicated. It's perpetuating the state of insecurity in the DRC. It's undermining regional efforts by leaders of several countries in our region, including the leaders that are driving the Nairobi and Luanda processes, which is the best hope for peace and stability in this region. It does nothing to facilitate this process, so it's not useful at all. The report also ignores some very important aspects of what's happening in the DRC. The UN group of experts make no mention at all of the statements by the UN's own special advisor on genocide prevention, Alice Warimu, who released 2 statements in November and in January, detailing what is ongoing, the ethnic cleansing that's ongoing in the DRC. It's not just hate speech. It's not just hate speech. It's not just public incitement. There's also targeted killings. There's rapes going on. The report does not mention this.
Exactly.
And it goes even further. What's even worse this time, and what's really quite shocking, is that the group of experts then go on to blame the victims for their own suffering. This is a well-known tactic of genocide deniers. This kind of rhetoric is known, and it is unacceptable.
Right. To you, is this report, or some parts of it, a cover-up to the failure of the UN mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
It's a cover-up for many failures, including the failure of DRC to govern their own territory. And it's a cover-up for the behavior of their army, which is well known, for the behavior of the officials who spend their time blaming Rwanda instead of getting their act together and serving their people and participating in developing this region. We're wasting time in conflict that is unnecessary when we could be working together to develop this region.
Part of this particular report by the UN team of experts, I can say, ignores the echoes, the voices of the refugees in Rwanda and elsewhere who have been for decades calling to return to their homeland but are denied of their rights. What do you have to say about it, as most of these, and many of these refugees are here in Rwanda?
Well, there's a reason why they're here, and people need to ask themselves why. And the reasons that brought refugees, the Congolese refugees here 25 years ago, still exist in the DRC. We have over 80,000 refugees. We've had over 80,000 Congolese refugees in Rwanda for decades now. Since November last year to today, over 7,500 new refugees have come in because of a situation where they're persecuted and it's not safe for them to return home. So when a report like this covers up or sanitizes what is going on and actually blames the victims for their own suffering is put out, then it's really regrettable. It doesn't help to resolve this issue, and it perpetuates the suffering of thousands of people. So this needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed by the DRC, and it needs to be addressed by the international community. And the way forward is to stay on the path of the regional agreements that we have. Rwanda is fully committed to the ongoing regional processes, in particular the Nairobi and the Luanda processes. We're doing our part. Everyone should do their part. This is the best chance of peace our region has, and everyone has to stick to the plan. What the DRC government is doing, and they're not being called out for, is there's lots of efforts on their part to sabotage the process. So they need to do their part and stop provoking Rwanda, and also to take responsibility for the insecurity in their own country and do the right thing.
Right. Yolande, spokesperson of the government of Rwanda, thank you very much for your time on Rwanda Television.
Thank you for having me.